What's the deal with Daisy, Wario and Waluigi? For years their presence consisted in that of the spin-off games, or as I like to coin them, the ensemble games, where Nintendo doesn't canonically mine characters of other teams, both internal and even external, to appear in the non-mainline entries where the real barbed wire fences exist. Today I will be taking a look at all three of these ensemble usuals and see if they have a chance at appearing in a mainline Mario title. We begin with Daisy. Daisy was created by Nintendo R&D 1 for Super Mario Land on Game Boy, the first Super Mario series title not to be developed by EAD. Therefore, in lieu of longtime Nintendo teams' internal respect for one another, R&D 1 brought their own secondary cast while they isolate Mario around them. Enter Daisy, the R&D 1 answer to EAD Princess Peach Toadstool. Afterwards, she would become an ensemble regular, but Daisy was kept out of appearing in a mainline Mario title since those had furthermore been handled by EAD. In 2004, Daisy's root team of R&D 1 merged with R&D 2 to form Nintendo SPD, narrowing Nintendo's internal dev giants down to two big game units. 11 years later, the gap diminished entirely, within September 2015, when EAD and SPD would merge into the ultimate in-house Nintendo structure, EPD. So, can Daisy appear in a mainline Mario title? The answer: she already has. 2 years after EAD and SPD tore down the walls of Division, she would be added to Super Mario Run. This most definitely was an exercise of EPD, the giant that collided all of Nintendo internal game makers. Much like how Nintendo Switch is the coming together of the home console and handheld line. Next up is Wario. Just like Daisy, he was also a native to R&D 1 in their follow-up title, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. So his limit mirrored that of Daisy, whom we just went over. As of 2015, he is now a mainline possible. Not that he needs that per se, as he already is the bearer of two wonderful Nintendo series of his own, WarioWare and Wario Land. But I'd love to see him in the next big Mario adventure for the next-gen hardware. Wario appeared surprisingly in the EAD Super Mario 64 DS in 2004. While it is not confirmed as to how this got away, I've theorized this was due to the game originally being merely a technical demonstration of the Nintendo DS hardware known as Super Mario 64x4, until inevitably switching gears to an actual remake of the 1996 N64 classic. At that point, they really could not just toss Wario aside per se, charge and chuck. It put EAD in an exceptional weird position where they had to use him. Lastly is Waluigi. Unfortunately, unlike Wario and Daisy, despite both not being EAD creations, were still Nintendo born, just a distant apart. Waluigi was created entirely outside of Nintendo. By Camelot, Waluigi would star in Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64. This was also the first ensemble spin-off title that Daisy made as well. So, can Waluigi appear in a mainline Mario entry? As the Nintendo culture stands, no. But it's not all doom and gloom for the Wa-Man. He has the possibility to appear in any non-Nintendo team-developed title, whether that's a non-mainline Mario, or a Wario game not made by a Nintendo-owned team, maybe even sprout his own franchise. For this to happen though, it would have to be an outside third-party studio working with the license such as Namco, Ubisoft, Capcom, etc. Subsidiaries such as Retro Studios and Next Level Games, probably not. Since they're of the same internal politics, but as subsidiaries and not in-house. Nintendo views Waluigi as a proud creation of Camelot, even though Nintendo owns the legal rights to him. Many fans also feel passionately about his heritage there as well and feel they should helm a Waluigi franchise. To that I say, that would be neat, but they're shafted to making Mario sports titles from now till the rest of eternity, and with Camelot seemingly being under the radar of the sterilized quality assurance department, who most definitely have been sucking the soul out of modern Mario sports titles, it could disastrously segue into a dampening of a personality-driven Waluigi game. But that's a story for another day. So one way or another, these characters have a future that consists beyond just supporting cast in the wild open west known as the spin-offs. It's amusing how Wario and Daisy were created as a result of Division, but now are under the very same gigantic Nintendo that Peach and Bowser on what was the opposite end of the family, all celebrate their heritage under one whole division. Unity is a big aspect of modern-day Nintendo, and I personally admire it so much. Wario continues to fend for himself as he always has, he is in great shape. WarioWare has come back and hopefully Wario Land sooner rather than later. Daisy has been seen in the promotional material of Super Nintendo World. While we won't be seeing Waluigi in a mainline Nintendo title, that's not to say a third party who is not locked down by Nintendo ownership culture cannot work with Waluigi on several fronts. I almost thought that if Camelot ever closed down, it would put EPD in a position where they would be urged to adopt Waluigi with Camelot ceasing to exist. Just like how when Rare would depart from Nintendo, which was Nintendo's own doing, and they had to shelter and adopt the Rare characters who debuted in their Donkey Kong Country games. This could also apply to the late Alpha Dream, who sadly is dead, but being how most of their original characters they made were reskins of existing Mario characters, I doubt quality assurance will let them live on. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.